Hi everyone, welcome to English Anytime. Today we talk about long-term vocabulary retention, a comprehensive guide to lifelong mastery. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Learning new vocabulary is essential for language proficiency, yet one of the greatest challenges for learners is ensuring that these words remain part of your long-term memory. Many of us have experienced the frustration of studying a list of words only to find that they vanish from memory within days or weeks. The key to overcoming this challenge is to employ strategies that not only help you learn new words but also guarantee that they stick with you for the long haul. In this guide, we will explore why vocabulary retention is so difficult, the science behind memory, and a suite of proven techniques that foster long-term retention. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced learner, the methods outlined here will help you transform vocabulary from temporary knowledge into lasting fluency. We will discuss spaced repetition, flashcards, mnemonic devices, contextual learning, and active usage, all explained in a clear, logical format that integrates easily into everyday routines without reliance on a rigid schedule. Understanding the memory process, the nature of forgetting. One of the earliest insights into memory retention was provided by Hermann Ebbinghaus, who introduced the concept of the forgetting curve. According to this theory, the memory of new information decays exponentially unless it is reinforced. In other words, if you do not review newly learned vocabulary, your brain will quickly lose it. This natural tendency makes it crucial to review words regularly so that they transfer from short-term to long-term memory. How memory works for vocabulary long-term retention involves several key elements. Encoding. When you first learn a new word, you encode its sound, meaning, and usage. This initial step is essential, but it is only the beginning. Storage. For a word to remain in memory, it must be stored in your long-term memory banks. This happens through repeated exposure and reinforcement. Retrieval. The ultimate test of learning is the ability to recall and use the word. Active retrieval, such as speaking or writing the word in context, solidifies your knowledge. To maximize retention, effective vocabulary learning should address all three aspects: encoding, storage, and retrieval. The techniques we discuss below are designed to work in harmony with these natural processes. Core techniques for last-term vocabulary retention. 1. Spaced repetition concept overview. Spaced repetition is a method that involves reviewing vocabulary at strategically increasing intervals. Instead of cramming all your study into one session, you gradually extend the intervals between reviews. This approach takes advantage of the brain's natural forgetting curve by reinforcing the memory just as it begins to fade. Implementation strategies. Immediate reinforcement. Right after learning new words, give yourself a brief review to reinforce the initial encoding. Multiple reviews. Rather than one review session, integrate several review moments throughout your day or week. The key is not to let too much time pass between sessions. Long-term reviews. Even after you feel confident with your vocabulary, periodic reviews help ensure that these words remain in your active memory. Why it works. By revisiting words at just the right moments, you create stronger neural connections. Over time, these connections become robust enough that the words are stored permanently. 2. Flashcards concept overview. Flashcards are a timeless and effective tool for vocabulary learning. They provide a simple way to test your memory through active recall. Each flashcard has a word on one side and its definition, pronunciation, and an example sentence on the other. Implementation strategies. Physical or digital options. Use paper flashcards or digital tools such as Anki or Quizlet. Digital flashcards often come with built-in spaced repetition systems that adjust the review intervals based on your performance. Active recall. Instead of passively reading, force yourself to recall the definition before flipping the card. This active engagement strengthens your memory. Personalized content. Tailor your flashcards to include mnemonics or personal associations. The more personally meaningful the card, the easier it is to remember. Why they work. Flashcards stimulate active recall, which is one of the most effective ways to transfer information into long-term memory. They also allow for self-assessment, so you can focus more on words that you find challenging. 3. Mnemonic devices concept overview. Mnemonics are creative memory aids that help you form associations between new vocabulary and familiar concepts. By linking a word to a vivid image, sound, or story, you make the word more memorable. Implementation strategies. Visualization. For each word, create a mental image that captures its meaning. For instance, for the word meticulous, you might imagine a person carefully organizing a room down to the smallest detail. Acronyms and rhymes. Develop simple acronyms or rhymes that incorporate the word. These tools provide easy-to-recall cues that trigger the memory of the word's meaning. Personal connections. Relate the word to a personal experience or a similar word in your native language. This personal touch often makes the word stick. Why they work. Mnemonics add a layer of meaning to otherwise abstract vocabulary. By converting abstract words into concrete images or stories, you create additional pathways in your brain for retrieving that information later. 4. Contextual learning concept overview. Learning vocabulary in context means understanding how words are used in sentences and real-life situations rather than simply memorizing isolated definitions. This method deepens comprehension and makes recall more natural. Implementation strategies. Engaging with authentic materials. Read books, watch movies, listen to podcasts, or follow conversations in English, where the new vocabulary is used naturally. This exposes you to the nuances of how words are applied in different contexts. Writing exercises. Practice writing sentences, paragraphs, or even short stories that incorporate your new vocabulary. By crafting narratives, you reinforce the word's meaning and usage. Simulation and role-play. Imagine real-life scenarios where you might use the new words. Role-playing these situations either on your own or with a partner can boost your confidence and solidify your understanding. Why it works. Contextual learning makes vocabulary acquisition more meaningful and practical. When you understand how a word functions in different scenarios, you're more likely to remember it and use it correctly. 5. Active usage in communication concept overview. The ultimate goal of vocabulary learning is not just to recognize words, but to use them actively in conversation and writing. Active usage converts passive knowledge into active language skills. Implementation strategies. Speak regularly. Incorporate new words into your daily conversations, even if it means talking to yourself. Describe your day, share your thoughts, or practice with a language partner. Writing practice. Maintain a journal, blog, or even social media posts in English where you intentionally use new vocabulary. The act of writing reinforces your learning and helps identify areas where you might need further practice. Interactive group activities. Join language clubs or discussion groups where you can practice speaking with others. The social aspect of learning not only makes it more enjoyable, but also provides immediate feedback on your usage. Why it works. Active communication forces your brain to retrieve vocabulary in real time, strengthening your ability to recall and use words effortlessly. It also turns new vocabulary into practical tools for everyday conversation. The key to long-term retention is consistency, yet you do not need an overly rigid schedule with exact time markers. Instead, create a routine that naturally fits into your daily life. Here's how you can design a flexible yet effective plan. A. Establish a learning mindset. Start by setting realistic goals. Decide on a manageable number of new words to learn each day or week. The focus should be on quality rather than quantity. Embrace a growth mindset. Every new word learned is a step forward in your language journey. B. Create natural study moments. Integrate vocabulary practice into parts of your day when you are naturally receptive to learning. For example, morning moments. Use the quiet of the early morning to introduce new vocabulary. Reflect on the words, write them down, and try to recall their meanings without looking. During breaks, instead of scheduling exact minutes, treat every coffee break or quiet moment as an opportunity to flip through your flashcards or mentally review your list. Evening reflections. At the end of the day, spend a few minutes reviewing the words you learned. Reflect on how you might have used them throughout your day and write down a few sentences incorporating them.
C.
Embed vocabulary in daily activities rather than setting aside long, isolated study sessions. Weave vocabulary practice into everyday activities. Reading, choose articles, stories, or blogs that naturally incorporate your target words. As you read, underline, or note the words in context. Listening. Listen to English music, podcasts, or audiobooks that use the vocabulary you're learning. This not only reinforces the words, but also helps with pronunciation and understanding different accents. Speaking and writing. Practice speaking aloud or write a brief reflection after your daily activities. The goal is to make the vocabulary active rather than passive. D. Maintain flexibility. Remember that your routine should adapt to your lifestyle. Some days you may have more time for practice, while on busier days, even a few minutes of review can be effective. The key is regularity rather than strict adherence to a predetermined schedule. Enhancing learning with digital tools in today's digital age. A wide range of apps and online platforms can support your vocabulary learning journey. These tools not only simplify the process, but also incorporate many of the techniques discussed above. Digital flashcards and spaced repetition software apps like Anki and Quizlet. These platforms allow you to create custom flashcards and employ spaced repetition algorithms that automatically adjust the review intervals based on your performance. They help ensure that you review each word at the optimal time for retention. Interactive quizzes. Many apps offer interactive quizzes and games that make learning more engaging. These quizzes challenge your recall in a fun, competitive manner, reinforcing the vocabulary through repeated active recall. Language learning platforms, online courses, and communities. Platforms such as Duolingo, Memrise, or Babbel integrate vocabulary practice with grammar, listening, and speaking exercises. They provide a well-rounded learning experience that keeps you motivated. Social and discussion forums. Joining online language forums or social media groups dedicated to English learning can offer additional practice. Engaging in discussions with fellow learners or native speakers helps reinforce your vocabulary in real-life conversations. Personalized learning experiences. Many digital tools allow you to track your progress over time. Use these analytics to identify which words are challenging and require extra focus. Personalizing your learning based on feedback is one of the most effective ways to ensure long-term retention. Overcoming common challenges. Even with the best strategies, you may encounter obstacles in retaining new vocabulary. Here are some common challenges and tips to overcome them. Challenge 1. Initial overwhelm problem. Trying to learn too many new words at once can lead to frustration and burnout. Solution: start small. Focus on a handful of high-frequency words each day and gradually increase your list as you become more comfortable with your retention techniques. Challenge 2. Forgetting despite reviews problem. Even with repeated exposure, some words may continue to slip away. Solution: use a combination of techniques. If a word isn't sticking with flashcards alone, try creating a vivid mnemonic or write a short story that includes the word. Sometimes changing your approach to the same word can make a big difference. Challenge 3. Lack of confidence in usage problem. You might recognize a word when you see it, but feel uncertain when it comes to using it in conversation or writing. Solution: practice active usage as much as possible. Engage in conversations with language partners, record yourself speaking, or write regularly in a journal. The more you use the vocabulary, the more natural it will become. Challenge 4. Maintaining consistency problem. Busy schedules and distractions can make it hard to stick to a routine. Solution: adopt a flexible routine that fits your lifestyle. Instead of forcing long, scheduled study sessions, use natural breaks in your day for quick reviews. Even a few minutes here and there can have a significant impact over time. Real-life applications and success stories to bring these techniques to life. Consider the story of a language learner. Let's call her Maria. Maria struggled with remembering everyday vocabulary despite her efforts. She decided to implement a flexible routine. In the mornings, she introduced herself to 5 new words using flashcards and mnemonics. Throughout the day, during her commute and breaks, she reviewed these words on her phone using a spaced repetition app. In the evenings, Maria wrote a short diary entry summarizing her day, ensuring that she used the new words naturally in context. Over time, Maria not only remembered the words, but began using them confidently in conversations and writing. Her success was a direct result of combining multiple techniques and integrating vocabulary practice into her daily life without stressing over rigid schedules. Maria's story illustrates that lasting vocabulary retention is achievable when you create a balanced approach, one that combines immediate reinforcement, regular reviews, and practical application. Advanced strategies for the dedicated learner. Once you have mastered the basics, you can further enhance your vocabulary retention with more advanced strategies. In-depth thematic learning focus on a specific theme or area of interest for a set period. For instance, if you're interested in business English, immerse yourself in vocabulary related to finance, marketing, or management. Read articles, watch videos, and participate in discussions that revolve around that theme. This concentrated approach not only builds your vocabulary in a targeted area, but also deepens your understanding of context and usage. Teaching others. One of the best ways to reinforce your own learning is to teach it to someone else. Whether through formal tutoring or informal language exchanges, explaining new words and concepts forces you to revisit and solidify your own knowledge. Consider forming a study group or participating in language clubs where you can take turns explaining vocabulary to one another. Integrating multimodal learning. Engage multiple senses to enhance memory retention. Visual learning. Use images, infographics, and color-coded notes. Auditory learning. Listen to native speakers, record your own pronunciation, and use language learning podcasts. Kinesthetic learning. Write words by hand, use gestures while practicing pronunciation, or engage in interactive language games. Using a combination of these modalities ensures that the vocabulary is encoded in your memory in several different ways, making recall easier and more robust. Making vocabulary retention a lifelong habit, the ultimate goal is to transform vocabulary learning from a chore into a natural part of your daily life. Here are some final tips to make this happen. Curiosity and enjoyment. Cultivate a genuine interest in the language. Explore topics that excite you and let that enthusiasm drive your vocabulary learning. Integration into daily life. Whether through reading, watching films, or engaging in conversations, let English be a part of your everyday environment. The more you immerse yourself, the more naturally vocabulary will stick. Regular self-assessment. Periodically test yourself, not just through flashcards, but by writing essays, having discussions, or even recording short videos where you explain concepts in English. Celebrate milestones. Recognize and reward your progress. Every new word mastered is a victory on your journey to fluency. Remember, the road to lasting vocabulary retention is not a sprint, it is a marathon. With consistent effort, a flexible routine, and a passion for learning, your vocabulary will grow and mature over time, enabling you to communicate with clarity and confidence. Conclusion: long-term vocabulary retention is a cornerstone of language mastery. By understanding the processes behind memory and applying techniques such as spaced repetition, flashcards, mnemonic devices, contextual learning, and active usage, you can ensure that new words do not fade away, but become an enduring part of your linguistic repertoire. Rather than relying on strict, inflexible schedules, this guide advocates for a natural, integrated approach. Whether you're reviewing during a quiet moment in the morning, engaging with authentic materials throughout the day, or reflecting on your progress in the evening, every interaction with new vocabulary contributes to long-term retention. Adopt a mindset of continuous learning, be patient with yourself, and enjoy the journey. With these strategies in place, you will not only remember vocabulary for the long term, but also gain the confidence to use it effortlessly in every aspect of your life. May your path to English fluency be enriched by a vibrant and lasting vocabulary that empowers you to express your ideas, share your experiences, and connect with others on a deeper level.